Hey, what's going on? So, welcome to the Transform with Sennet. It was AKA also known as All Gas No Brakes, TPM, the positive mentality. Today, we're going to be diving into a topic deeply personal and incredibly important for transitioning from military to civilian life, whether you recently left the service or preparing for the change or simply just want to understand the journey. This episode is for you. We'll be sharing our own experiences and insights along with practical tips and strategies to help navigate the transition successfully. We'll cover everything from coping with emotional shifts, finding a new career path, managing finances, and maintaining your health and wellness during the significant life changing. Transitioning out of the military definitely can feel overwhelming, but it's also a chance to redefine yourself and explore new opportunities. So grab a notebook, settle in, and let's take this journey together. Let's turn the next chapter of your life into a story, growth, resilience, and success. And today, of course, I am Sergeant First Class Sennet, retired. I didn't know what to put that on. We have Master Sergeant Franklin Little, retired as well. So there's about what about, I would say I did 24, you did 20 plus. So we got about 40 plus years experience right here, in the building. So if we can't get you where you need to be, we know somewhere, just like NCO always says, we know where to send you to get the right information. All right, what's going on, big dog?
What's up, brother? Appreciate you having me on your platform, man.
All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna share our personal experience with transitioning out the military with a little brief synopsis. We ain't gonna bore you out to death. So I actually retired a year ago, and the transition was, I ain't gonna say rough for me because I was away from the flagpole, meaning that I wasn't actually on the military installation. I was at a reserve base. I was active duty. But I didn't take the transformation or the transition, I would say, serious, because I was so used to the military, and I was like, oh, it's gonna be easy, it's gonna buff out. But I'm gonna tell you this: the reason I ended up getting overwhelmed when I got out, because there was a lot of things I should have did while I was in. I should have backtracked at least a year and a half before I got out. When I knew I was gonna retire, like, hey, backtrack a year and a half, get some of those ducks in a row, and then I wouldn't have had so much of a hard time once I actually retired. What about you, big dog?
I took it seriously. It is emotional roller coaster, mentally and physically. Like you said, the first thing you really need to do when you first decide you want to retire, you need to backwards plan like anything you ever did in the army. That year and a half, 2 years out, year out, that it comes quick. It comes quick with everything you're doing, as far as like planning, getting yourself ready, getting your family ready, preparing for the outside. That time comes by quick. So
Yeah.
you need to do backwards planning, have a plan, and have a guideline, and just so you can have a reference to go through. It's not going to be perfect, but if you plan it out, it'll be an easy transition and not.
I would say, what's the for you? What was the importance? What you think the importance of this topic is? Like, because the many veterans, we face challenges. But I would say, what's the biggest phase? You say you take it all in, and all of it is important. But what was the biggest phase for you to say, okay, I need to buckle down, I need to make this happen before I get out?
Just looking somewhere to put my family and stability. So
Okay.
they knew I was retiring, and so a year out, we started the process of looking for a home. We had already knew we was going to stay at, but
Mhm.
the tricky thing about that is if because what we did was we bought a home on the way out, which is not hard, but it's not on your timeline because of certain things. So finding a home, getting my kids, my number one goal is to get my kids settled in school the minute I retire. The
Mhm.
time frame I retire. I was retiring at the end of one school year. So I wanted to get the kids settled before the summer so they can finish out the school year and then start fresh at their school. So just searching for a home and getting everything, get my family situated. I wasn't too much worried about myself. It was just getting my family situated.
Okay, yeah. So I know what on my end, my experience is that and I don't know if I should say this or not, but I think going to do OCT for me, it put me in a civilian arena already. So I had in the civilian sector already. So, and I pretty much transitioned to a regular job before I actually got out. So I think I don't know if I'm supposed to say that, but you know, be that as it may, we know we all some of us do that as well. So the transition I would say for that was it was smooth because I went from one job straight into the next. But I say the most emotional part and the hardest part, the emotional part for me is I didn't take a break, if that makes sense. I didn't take a
That's
break.
very important.
One great job to the next one. I didn't have no time to say, whew, let me gather my thoughts real quick. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
but so we go through a lot of emotions. Soldiers, whether you getting out and you did the 20 plus or you did the 10 plus, whatever, we go through a lot of emotions, such as finding a purpose once we get out. Because Sergeant first class, master sergeant, sergeant, whatever the case that you got out at your rank, it's a different world out here. You know what I'm saying? So, what are some coping mechanisms besides everybody? Oh, go work out, go work out. You can't work out 24 hours a day, and that's one thing. We can cope with working out. That's a coping mechanism. But what are some things that you use to cope? Because now you're not master sergeant or first sergeant no more. You don't have people calling you all the time, and you have your good friends. But what are some things because things are quiet now, versus the military? What's some coping mechanisms you use to deal with, the transition, and now it's not as fast paced as it was?
Right. So that was so I've been retired 6 months already, a few days ago, 6 months. Um, for me, the coping mechanism I lean on my family. So we know military personnel, we sacrifice a lot of time away from our family. I didn't try to get that time back, but I did take the time to enjoy things that, you know, we don't get every day. Like I take my
Yeah.
daughter to school every day. I take different kids to school every day. I pick them up. Um, I'm able to attend certain events, but coping mechanism just leaning on my family and my friends and prior people, mentors who retired, and ask them, what are things to do. The biggest thing they said that I've done was taking a break. So I
Yeah.
took a break. I took a break going on 6, 7 months. I'm gonna start working at top of the year, but that break is needed because, like you say, you have to let your body unwind. You got to let your mind unwind. No matter if you did 20, 15, 10,
Yeah.
you're part of a brotherhood, sisterhood institution that you're always around people. You always collaborate with people. There's a dialogue with people. And then at the end, it's just you and your family, and y'all go on your way and start your other life. And that can
Yeah.
be hard too. That's why I tell people, talk like, for me,
Mm-hmm.
go talk to a therapist, go talk to somebody, um,
Mm-hmm.
lean on your family. But the big thing is that transition, your emotions is going to be because you go from, and I don't want to sound mean, but you go from, no matter what your rank is, you go from being important to somebody,
Mm-hmm.
dependable of somebody dependent on you, to, it's like, okay, boom, there's no more text messages, there's no more phone calls. It's like your phone is
Yeah.
dry, and it's like it's just you and your family, and you have to learn to deal with that. And whatever you may do, work out, fish. But some people, like you say, some people don't need a break because of their mindset. They
Yeah.
want to go from one team to another, and that's okay. They just got to find their happy medium in the end. But for me, I knew, as hard as I went, and the sacrifice I made, I just knew I had to take a break the minute I took this uniform off. And it's been
Okay.
great. I'm not gonna say it's been perfect. You
Mm-hmm.
have your boring spots. The kids in school. How do I feel that time? I'm
Yeah.
not.
Yeah. That's the
You
biggest
got
one,
to.
I think. That's definitely the biggest one, I think, because you hit the nail on the head with the things get quiet, man. When I say that things get quiet, as soon as you take the uniform off, nobody calling you. This soldier is not here. This soldier didn't show up, or this meeting at this time, and it's like you do feel like you go from being important to not being important to anybody. So that's when I think you got to, like you said, you got to lean on your family. And I'm gonna be honest with you, got to lean on God a lot more. If you didn't lean on him now, and I don't,
Amen.
I'm not talking about whatever you believe in, continue to believe in that. But for me, I believe in God, and I believe that you got to lean on Him more, especially in this time frame. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
so that's a good thing. And it's good to have buddies too, like buddies from the military, because your true buddies are the ones that actually call you still when you out and be like, just regular stuff like, hey man, you seen that game, or call you to shoot the shit sometime. You know what I'm saying?
mhm, yeah.
So that's always a good thing. So in taking a break, you mentioned taking a break is also always a good thing, because I know a couple some first classes or soldiers that got out, they went straight to working because, like you said, they mind is busy. But I did that. For me, I am enjoying going back to school, not working right now. That's a privilege that we have. Uh, so have you actually been into the career phase, like what do you? I know you're a first sergeant, so retired, but what do you think about I say the program as far as career and transition, the professional transition, like what is it called? Not ACAP. What is it called? I can't remember the.
You're talking about the skill
Yeah, the
bridge
skill
thing.
bridge. What do you think about the whole resume building and the job hunting and the network as far as the Army platform? Can it
Hey,
be revamped, or is it good where it's at?
I'm gonna tell you, I was skeptical. When you go to your all these briefings you got to attend and these classes, I was
Hmm.
skeptical until it was time for TAP.
Okay.
That week was the most influential and important week of your whole military career. I
Yeah.
learned so much. What I would recommend to people is, regardless of what your career fit is, I don't care if you got a job set when you get out.
Hmm.
Take the time and go to these resume professionals. I absolutely guarantee you they know what they're doing and they're going to get you where you need to be. So,
Yeah.
resume building, um, just looking for jobs. If you can do, I didn't do a skill bridge because I knew
Yeah.
I wasn't immediately going to work. But the Army program that they implemented with this skill bridge and helping people intern and got a 90+% hiring rate, do that. That
Yeah.
is a great program because, for one, the organization that they bring on, the military, they have to have a certain percentage hire rate, meaning they just can't get free labor out of you and then, oh, you don't work
Yeah.
out. There's a
Yeah.
certain rate you got to get hired, and it absolutely works. I've known mentors, battle buddies who've done it, and they are well set in their jobs, doing what they're doing, living. But I will tell you, tap
Yeah.
that week from everything, interview tips, VA, all that stuff, man. Take it seriously. And it wasn't until like the second day I was like, oh, this is real. Like, these people
Yeah.
know what they're talking about and how you can get you on the right track. And I haven't utilized what they taught me yet, but I have my resumes ready. I have my uh, I still watch videos on interview tips, because
Hmm.
when it comes to, and I know we're gonna talk about this down the line, but when it comes to interviews and the way you communicate and the way you talk, you can't do it the same way in the military. You
Yeah,
can't use
you
the
know what?
same
I was
verbiage.
realizing that too, man. And you made a good point with that, man. Because I was to the point where I was like, you know what? I'm a son first class. I know how to talk to people. I can stand in front of people. I know, but it's a different ball game when you talk to civilians, because you can't go in there saying the same acronyms and things, because they like, what? Okay, what is that? And now you kind of, I wouldn't say you look unprofessional, but you look more unprepared.
There you
That's
go.
the way I feel. You know what I'm
Yep,
saying?
yep, yes.
So I had to learn that for a fact. That is a good tip. I'm glad you brought that up, because if you don't do those classes, you don't know how to, because we don't know how the civilian world. It's two different worlds. You know what I'm saying? That's what I had to realize.
Hmm.
So what I do think, I'm going to bring this point up to you. What the way I feel is that, as I'm going to college for IT now, but even if I stay transportation, there's some certifications that um, we need to get for the civilian sector. Do you think the Army needs to, like, as leadership, for former Army leadership, do you think we need to harp on that for our soldiers to be like, hey, find a civilian adequate certification that aligns with this in transportation? Hey, you need to go to this course, take this course. Do we, or you think we need to wait till we get out?
No, so I'm gonna tell you, I didn't learn. So when it comes to certifications, as transporters, we have certain certifications we can get while we get in. The usual stuff, right? What I did not learn until, and Army needs to push this, not on tap classes of people ETS and retire, whatever. They need to put this stuff out before.
Yeah.
There's about 8 to 10 project management courses in any kind of different. I'm just speaking on transportation.
Yeah.
Transportation courses, project management courses. They told us it's a tap. It's about 10 classes that you as a service member can take for free that people on the outside pay thousands of dollars for. But I didn't know this until tap time, which, is okay. You learn and you get the information. But if they put this stuff out to soldiers
Well,
beforehand,
yeah.
they can come out well more prepared, because everybody don't come out and get a job like that. And I know we're gonna talk about this later on too, because education is really important. Don't
Yeah.
get a degree just to get promoted, because I'm being honest
Yeah.
with you, 100%. I'm a retired first sergeant, right? And this coming from mentors who's retired, 2-star sergeant majors who I done talked to. Hey, little, what you've done in the military is important to you, but the civilian side don't care about that unless you can articulate that on a resume. You get what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
They don't care that I was the first sergeant that did 21 years. That's not going to guarantee me a position.
Yeah.
What's going to guarantee me a position is they look at his resume and say, okay, I took what was on my NCRs, I translated it to civilian work. It makes sense to them.
Yeah.
And then now, okay, I interview and so on and so on. And they teach you. That's why I tell people, tap is so important. They take that out. They will take your NCR bullet by bullet, look
Yeah.
at it, and recommend, okay, don't use this verbiage, use that verbiage, because same thing for OER too.
Yeah.
You have to know how to translate from from military to make sure it makes sense in civilian world.
Because I know it's one part of the tap where they said, if you some first class or above, you don't need to attend. But I recommend that everybody attends that. It don't matter whether you in there with privates or not. This is your livelihood, when you get out. But I think the biggest thing is and that was me. I did the college thing to get promoted. You know what I'm saying? I was just going taking random classes, and I speak for myself, is that I had like 60 credit hours and they was all over the place. You know what I'm saying? So when I just did my evaluation to go to school for IT, which was still good, but the point is I didn't have when I got out, I'm just got 60 credit hours to Lord knows wherever it's going. You know what I'm saying? But now the college, like, hey, you got 2 years left. But I for my IT, so I did take something. But I would say be more, once you get past the E3, E4 phase, E5 phase, or sergeant phase, you need to be more locked in on college and exactly what you're trying to do in the long term. So I agree with
Absolutely.
you on that one, man.
Absolutely.
So if you could, like, we don't want to get too deep into this, but if you can go back and change one thing, like, now that you did 20 plus years, when it comes to, I guess, anything, like anything as far as that could help you once you retire, would that something be you add? Is there something you would add to what you did, or you think you kind of was like, okay, I was pretty good, straightforward, straight now, I'm good to go now?
No, I do. I have one big regret. I mean, not regret, but if remember in our last interview, you asked me a similar question like this, and I said, when I get in the way of something, I always get the short end of the stick. So
Yeah.
if I can go back and do one thing in 2019 December, when I graduated with my bachelor's degree, I should have went straight into my master's degree. I'm gonna tell you why. It was the top of 2020. I knew I was employed. Everybody who's been employed know you get a lot of downtime. I don't care how
Yeah.
you swing it, you get downtime.
Yeah.
And then unfortunately the pandemic hit. So what were we doing? Everything was online, high
Yep.
school, middle school. So if I would have done that and got my master's degree earlier,
Yeah.
I could have looked into certifications I could have done while still in, and then getting better prepared on the
Yeah.
outside. Maybe I wouldn't have took a break, but everything happened for a reason. But I wish I would have continued with my master's degree immediately after I finished my bachelor's degree, because those
Yeah.
2 years down, it was a pandemic. We weren't doing nothing. It takes
Nothing.
2 years to get a master's degree. And that was it. That's the only regret I have. But I'm
So
done
I
now. So
think,
I mean,
but yeah, I think yeah, you got a very good point on that one, because yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I know you see my page. I was more focused on working out than I was getting college. So I would say with me, I should have focused more on like the educational side. because like I said, you got 24 hours in a day. I'm not working out 24 hours in a day, so I should have been more. I should have prioritized my time more. But you know how Hawaii is, man. Hawaii gets you. You like to be outside in Hawaii. You know how that is, man.
Yeah, but I
So
also want to say too is you prioritizing your health
yeah,
is just as important. I mean,
yeah,
we all
true.
do it. So you chose one or the other. So I mean, it's all good.
So my the biggest thing I know we do want to hit on the financial considerations, which I know there's a lot of veterans that are so used to getting and I don't know if that was still going on. Could you get paid once a month when you was in the army? Because I know it
So
broke down to twice a month for us.
so they changed that. I think in 21. I think they
Yeah.
changed that 21, 22. They changed it where everybody gets twice a month.
Yeah, so because I know back when I first came in '99, a lot of my leaders said that they were getting paid once a month and they was used to it. But now we have to get paid once a month, and I was like, oh man, wait a minute. So for me, I want to say, first people are always saying, man, I ain't got enough money, I need a new job. But me, what I realized, if you budget correctly, it doesn't, like, even when you're a private or E1 to all the way up to E whatever, you know what I'm saying? I want to let the listeners know on this podcast that even if you're in the military or you're civilian, if you budget correctly, actually sit down and do a line by line what's going out and what's coming in and what you're saving, and you buckle down, I would say start buckling out at least 2 years before you retire. That's what 5 years. All right, hey, said five
I break it
years.
down to you. I break it down to you.
Okay, go ahead. So with me, that's why I said I had a little hiccup. But the good thing is, I would say that I had some savings and I budgeted, and then I used the GI Bill. So and then I had a job, so it kind of helped me, you know, I guess overcome that part of not getting paid for the 1 or 2 months where we was waiting for the retirement and the VA to kick in. So. But what you got to say on that part? You say 5 years, so explain to the people the 5 years.
All right. Okay. So explain to your audience is I was taught this as a private.
Yeah.
So the sergeant major I worked for, God bless his soul, Command Sergeant Major Willie C. Tate. I was his last driver in Hawaii for 2 years, and I watched his whole process retire. And he gave me so much advice that I remembered when it was time for me to retire or close to retirement, that it set me up. So finances are very important because I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna spend some money ETSing or retiring that army. It's just gonna happen. You're gonna spend money, right? So the best thing for you to do, and that's the reason why I was able to take a long break after retiring, is because I was financially. So the first thing you need to do, all right, I don't know if it's 10 years or 12 years now, you can go in depth. Once you go in depth, right, you need to start deciding, once you hit that 15-year mark, you need to start deciding, no matter if you're going to do 20, 30, because, life has its things, but
Yeah.
when you hit that 15-year mark, you should start planning financially to set yourself on the outside. Because two things are going to happen. You're going to retire at 20 or something years and you're going to be good, or you're going to be set up at your 20-year mark where the rest of the time you're going to be coasting financially and then you transition out. But 5 years out, what I was told is clear any debt that's a liability. Cars, credit cards, don't have no debt. I don't count houses as debt because a house can be an investment depending on how you flip it. But
Yeah.
financially, bills wise, car payments. I ain't had a car payment like 6 years, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. Car payments, minimize your debt, pay off anything you need to pay, because that last month in the army that you're on terminal leave, you don't get no paycheck. They're gonna explain
Yeah.
that to you. You don't get no paycheck.
Yeah.
And a lot of people depend on that paycheck. And the crazy thing is they tell you it can take up a certain amount of time for that last paycheck to come, which if you don't owe the army nothing, you're gonna be good. But to minimize the stress, 5 to 7 years out, you need to start clearing debt. You need to start not having no freaking unnecessary debt, bro.
And
That's
it's
what's gonna
something I
get
want you
people
to
over the
say.
hump.
Something I want you to say again, man, is that about that last check. And regardless if you're a some first class or above, that last check, hey, I just wanted to tell you, how long did it take for you to get that last check?
About 45 days.
Yeah, and so, and I agree with you on I didn't do that, and I wish I would have, but I wish I would have started 5 years out. But I 100% agree with you, the 5 to 7 years out, because I promise you that last check, if I didn't have that job that I had, we would have been hurting. I'm gonna be honest, I would have been, me and my family would have been hurting. It's because it take, I've heard, some battles, man, it only took me 20 days, 30 days, but you don't want to rely on that check, you know what I'm saying, to come in, because and then you looking at another 90 days. I think it was what, maybe 60 to 90 days for my VA to hit too. I can't remember if it was 60 or 90 days. It was one of them. It was in between that range where you got to wait for that. So you definitely want to have your bill set up and go from there. So I like the 5 year thing. So all my audience, if you listening, hey, 5 to 7 years, and regardless, if you, man, that's too early. I'm telling you, it creep up on you. Once you're at that 5 year mark, it creep up on you. I was like, man, because um I did I did I was at my 21 mark, I think it was. No, 20 something, 22nd year. And I was like, I want to get out. And they was like, well, you need to do one more year because you gave your kids the GI Bill. So I was like, dang, man. But I was like, man, I got to do another year. But man, that year went by so fast. And I looked around, I had 3 months left and I hadn't even done tap yet. And I was like, come
Yeah.
on, man.
It's
So
another thing I want to mention too, bro.
yeah.
That when it comes to finances, and like I said, they're going to brief you this in your tap classes, but just hear from us who, in the last year or so retired and stuff. They got to understand how to calculate their retirement check,
Yeah.
because that BAS, that BAH, that
Yeah.
COLA, and you where you at,
Gone.
it ain't
Gone.
there no more. It's a certain
Gone.
it's a certain percentage of your base pay. And
Yeah.
people need to understand that, because they're going to look at that check and be like, wow, I used to get, no, it's whatever percentage of your base check. And then that don't also come on time too, because it depends on how quickly after you get your audit is done,
Yeah. Yep.
which mine took 45 days, and I didn't owe the Army nothing. I'm like, okay, you just get up, and then you get your retirement check comes after they certify everything. And then
Yeah.
on the finance part, I want to talk about the VA.
Mm-hmm.
The VA takes time too. That take, depending on how you submit your claims and everything, the VA can take a long time. So what I'm saying is, whatever they think they have saved up, they need to have that triple, because if
Yeah.
you're waiting on income to come in, it's going to take a while. No matter, it's going to take a minute, at least about 30 to 45 days, and then
Yeah.
stuff will start transit. But like you say, budget, because that once a month thing ain't no joke.
No, it ain't, man. It ain't. Hey,
I mean,
look, this is what I was gonna say too, and it worked for me. It did work for me. If you got what I stress is, if you listening to this and you have about a year or so left, because I know a bunch of soldiers still in. So if you're listening to me or the Master Sergeant, go to these financial classes, but if you don't know how to budget, don't, or when your leadership come in and they say we're gonna do a budgeting class, take that stuff serious, man. Hey, bring that or go to your leadership, bring them your LES with your if you don't know how to budget with your bills, be honest, go line by line, and they can actually show you where you can cut costs at. You know what I'm saying? My biggest thing, with military, is that a lot of people drink, a lot of people chew tobacco, a lot of people smoke. If that's one common thing, where if you just quit that altogether, you'll save a lot of money, man. You'll save a lot of money.
listen, you're absolutely right. Listen, it's been about 12 years I quit smoking, bro. Like,
Yeah,
when after you, like, pay your bills, put money away for whatever you got, and you're looking, it's like, okay, I got an extra $100 right here. Not realizing I was spending that on cigarettes,
yeah,
every 2 weeks. So
gone.
you're absolutely right. And one more thing I want to talk about finances, and I want to harp on this, but I just want to get the people the information. You know me, I like to
Yeah,
pump out information. Credit,
yeah,
credit, credit. ACS alone, like you say, they will teach you how to budget. They also have credit classes. They can teach you how to run your credit like once a quarter and not get any points. They teach you, but your credit needs to be, and we all know military, excuse me, is infamous. They say our credit jacked up because we like fast cars, this, and that, whatever.
yeah,
But make sure, especially if you plan on buying a home or even renting apartments now, because that's what the people are going to now because of the housing market. But
Yeah.
Make sure your credit is A1.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is like top notch. Make sure your credit is as good as it can be when you decide to transition and start, getting homes and all this stuff like that. Because everybody say, oh, military, you get a VA loan. That's true. You
Yeah.
get a VA loan,
But your credit got to be
but
right though.
your credit got to be right too, or whatever how long you want to be. But
Yeah. You
your
can't
credit
have
got to
no
be right
300.
too.
You can't have no 300 talking about you want a VA loan. You might as well go ahead and rent you a house and call it a day till you get it together. You
I'm
know what
just
I'm
being
saying?
honest. You're absolutely right, brother.
So, hey, so what are some and I'll put the PowerPoint down below for the resources as well once you're done. If you've seen this on YouTube or you've seen this on Apple Podcasts, it will be a link to a lot of resources that we mentioned in this podcast today. But as far as health and wellness, the importance of physical fitness, physical fitness, if you don't use it, you'll lose it. But also I want to harp on mental health, because we can go out there and do PT, we can rug march, and we still have the mind frame of getting up early, making sure we in shape. I know I don't do PT 7 days a week or 5 days a week like the Army no more, but I get it in. But sometimes I realized I was doing that to mask my problems when it came to mental health. You know what I'm saying? So what are some things that you encountered to maintain your stability when it comes to mental health wise? We can harp on physical fitness all we want, but if we ain't mentally there for physical fitness, you ain't gonna even want to do physical fitness for real.
You're right
That's
about
my
that.
take on it.
You're right about that. So I'm not gonna lie to you. This is exactly what I did. The minute my retirement was approved, and I'm putting my unit on blast for good. And
Yeah.
that's why I say this, right? Um, I started my army with great leadership, and I ended my army with great leadership. So
Mm-hmm.
the minute I found out my retirement was approved, right?
Mm-hmm.
My sergeant major who's now retired, my colonel who's now soon to be a 1 star.
Mm-hmm.
They say, little, go take care of you and your family, right? Everybody don't get afforded that opportunity, but I had some great leadership that told me, hey, go take care of your family. A year gonna come, a year and a half gonna come quick. Go take care of your family and do what you got to do. What I immediately did, my uh, I went to my behavioral health clinic and I
Yeah.
set appointments. You want to know why? Because now I'm part of the team, but I'm no longer part of the team.
Yeah.
Just that quickly, I was for the opportunity to take care of myself, but I'm I'm part of the team, but I'm not because somebody already replaced me in that job, and I'm taking care of myself. So I had to go talk to someone about how I'm feeling without that transition.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't feel like I'm a nobody, but damn, like, okay, they told me to go take care of myself, which is a good thing, but it's like, damn, I'm sitting here like I'm thrown away. That's just my
Yeah.
mentality.
Yeah.
Because when you give something, and it's another thing, a reason why, and we can hop on this later about retirement. When you give 100% or give your all to something, and it's time for you to end that, you're gonna feel some type of way. It's no different than being a basketball star, an NFL star. Once you got to take them cleats off, and you've been giving your all, and you're gonna feel some type of way. So the same thing
Yeah.
with me in the military. So I went and talked to um, a behavioral health specialist about
Yeah.
my whole military career and how to cope with it on when I get out. And so what I did
Mm-hmm.
was my first VA appointment was mental health because
Yeah.
you're transitioning. It's a whole different ball game. So just talk to somebody, establish hobbies, right? Because you have to feel that time. I'm not gonna say void. I'm gonna say time because you're gonna have a lot of time on your hands, and you got to know how to feel it and not sit there and dwell
Yeah.
on stuff or just get too deep in stuff. So find some
Yeah.
hobbies. Use all the resources, phone calls, mental health. If you don't want to talk to a specialist, pick up a phone and call uh, the hotline
Yeah.
and just talk to somebody and let it out. Just talking to somebody just helps you through talking to somebody and getting a
And
routine.
so, and I'm glad you said that. So what we I put on the you'll see on the thing on YouTube, but for my listeners on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, if you don't have nobody in your corner when you retire, I've used this several times. You can go to call Military One Source. The phone number is 1-800-342-9647, and exactly let them know exactly what you're calling for, and they will send you to the right direction if it's mental health, especially. I've had, both of us, I'm sure, have had buddies who've um, uh, committed suicide, and that's a very we're not gonna get on that topic, but I say that to see that so we tackle mental health and wellness. Use that hotline, and also I have my FT Iron Dojo Facebook page down there. If you want to get a hold of me or my son Little, and you need somebody to talk to, we'll always be here for you. Now I'm gonna just let you. I'm just a joke, but don't be calling me at 4 in the morning talking about what you're doing. If you call me 3, 4 in the morning, or you hit us up on the messenger, it better be something serious. You know what I'm saying? But now, all jokes aside, we here for y'all. But we're gonna move on from there, and we are going to talk about the importance of highlighting family and friends. That's the biggest thing. That's after we talked about mental health. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go back. Tips for building a routine. So with my routine and your routine and everybody's routine is going to be different, right? So I still catch myself when it comes to working out, building like a PT plan, like how we did in the Army, building a PT plan for me because I know that holds me accountable. All right. But do you build, what type of plan do you build, or just right now you still kind of in that I'm retired phase, I'm kind of going with the flow phase? What part of transition are you in? I'm back. I did my little rest, so I'm on the more of the structured retired life. Hey, I got to do this. My time got to be taken outside of family, of course. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I ain't gonna lie. The whole summer I ain't do nothing. No
Yeah.
PT, no nothing like that. Right?
Yeah, I feel
No,
you.
it's all good. But once the kids got back in school in August, I got back into my routine, PT. But I don't run as much as I used to. I just go
Yeah.
to the gym. I find myself more in the gym now,
Yeah.
and just working out there. So me and my wife, and it's another thing, incorporate your family in your routine. Me and my wife
Yeah.
go to the gym. My son is track season come now, so me and
Yeah.
him are running to get him right. So just incorporating your family. So my structure is I'm straight. I'm all structured out as far as routine and family, especially like school year. Like take my daughter to school,
Yeah.
come back, get on the treadmill. Usually I would do homework, but I'm done with school now. And then just everyday life, like down to washing clothes or something, just so I can have something to do on a
Yeah.
certain day, where I won't be sitting idle. But I just incorporate my family. Like I said, me and my wife go for walks in the evening.
Yeah.
We go to the gym. Kids play. Go out, do stuff like that. Yeah, it's a routine. So it's
So
no
it's
more
more of
lazy,
the
but
it's so I get what you say. It's more of the way what I'm getting from you, and what I feel is that it's more you taking more time to appreciate the things you didn't have or you didn't appreciate while you're in, because you was always on the go, go, go. I gotta, it's like the point where you're taking care of everybody else but your family.
hmm
Now you have time to deal with it. So, but also outside of family and stuff. So we got to stress the importance of connecting with other veterans or joining support groups, because I'm in a group now where I have at the VA the VA hospital, not hospital, I say the VA center, where I talk to other vets that are part of the same conflict we were in, like Iraqi freedom, enduring freedom. So I have a veterans group like that. So if you guys need a group like that, make sure you contact your local VA. They'll definitely send you in the right direction. But what do you feel about sharing your personal experience with as far as mentorship or in veteran communities? Like, do you share what you've been through to the youth, or you keep it bottled up? You know what I'm saying?
no, I share. I share it with the youth. Honestly, I still a lot of people still contact me and
Yeah,
for mentorship and advice on certain things, and I still give it to them. There's no sense in me holding information. If I'm gonna help somebody out by giving them some good information, I'm gonna help them out. But I definitely think that talking to other veterans, talking to you know other people, your local VFW is good if you just want to go shoot the shit and talk about
yeah,
the hard times and the old times, your local VFW is a great asset along with the VA, just to connect. And like I see here in San Antonio, they have a lot of groups like that. Like I have a buddy who once a month he had breakfast at a restaurant with a lot of Vietnam and
Mhm.
veterans and stuff, and
Okay.
and bro, and you just sit there and you just look at them at their age and appreciate like life and being able to grow old like that and tell stories, man. It's like a kid sitting in a history class, and they're telling these
Yeah.
folk tale stories,
Exactly.
and you just, so absolutely, man. I'm
So
blessed that. Go ahead.
go ahead.
I live around in my neighborhood, and this is coincidence. One of my old first sergeants live around the corner from me, and one of my old platoon sergeants, who was a retired first sergeant, live around the corner from me. And we talk all the time, man. Just go to each other's house, talk about what it was like being in a unit and stuff like that. Because you got to get it out, man. Like you're
Yeah,
gonna
you
want to
do.
talk, and you want somebody who relates to you. Not saying civilians don't relate to you, but they end up asking questions that a normal person who
Yeah,
relate to you wouldn't ask. But
yeah,
it's good to get out, and it's also good. But I tell people like be proud of your military service. It's okay to get out and talk about it and be proud of what you've done. You know what I'm saying? Like you are 1% of a billion people population that you know either
yeah.
tried or didn't want to do it, but you did it. Be proud of that. You know what I'm saying? Be proud of that.
Exactly. So we gonna wrap it up here. We're gonna go into some takeaways and main points. Um, uh, so we gonna I'm gonna recap a little bit. So make sure if you got your pens and paper or you remember this. So uh, we went over the emotional side in the transition. So make sure you start 2 years out as far as the transition wise. Matt Son mentioned that one, and then career and professional transition. Make sure you use the TAP program to the best of your ability. They have all the professionals in there when it comes to resume building, identifying your transferable skills, and the value of your certifications. Start getting your certifications when you first come in the Army and you're allowed to go to school. Massar mentioned about Big Dog List. He mentioned about the having a purpose for your college. Don't just take random classes to get promoted. You know what I'm saying? And financial considerations. Would you say 5 years, right? 5
Years out.
years. You start budgeting. And health, and we talked about health and wellness, and during the transition, reach out to your buddies, go to a VA center. He mentioned about going to eat breakfast with some Vietnam vets. Talking to soldiers when you transition is probably the best. Talk to your family, of course. They're your support and they're your rock. But also talk to soldiers, because they know what you've been through. Because like you said about, if you just talk to civilians about what you've been through, they don't really know what you've been through. You know what I'm saying? So our closing takeaways, we recap the main point, but you have any inspiring or motivational messages for those who are currently in transition, the ones who, whether you're retiring or whether 5 years in, 10 years in, and you're getting out, you got anything motivational for them?
Yeah. Stay the course, man. Trust your instincts. Lean on people who've already completed that process, no matter how far along it's been, but just lean on them. But like you say, every resource utilize it. Like military, we we tend to don't want to get nothing for free because of our mindset, but all that stuff you earn. So
Yeah.
tap classes, financial classes, benefits, all that stuff, man. And I wanna talk about this,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you retired. Not taking away from nobody who done their time, especially if you retire, you've done over 20 years. Do not downplay your injuries when it comes to the VA. If you're in
Yeah.
pain,
Yeah.
tell them, right? And also with the VA, there's a great resources too. They will pay you to go to school, learn your trade, help you find a job, and so on and so on. But the VA, once you get out, the VA has a lot of benefits that can assist and help service members with getting back on their feet, looking for jobs. If you want to own your own business, they help you with all that stuff too. You gotta do your research and go into it. But when it's time to retire, it can be scary and exciting at the same time.
Yeah.
But what I tell you, you have to let those emotions filter through and don't bottle them in. And then lastly, depend on your family. They,
Yeah.
when it's all said and done, when you ride out to the sunset, it's just your family. As you stated earlier, your day ones, your people, they're gonna call and check on you, but your family is gonna be there, and make sure that you help them through the transition too, because some of these kids have been lifelong military brats. They feel a
Yeah.
certain way too. They're moving school, they're leaving best friends, spouses leaving work. They've been like, understand and understand their feelings towards it too, and get them the same resources that they can use to help them filter through this transition, because it's big for everybody, bro. It's big
Oh
for
yeah.
everybody.
I'm definitely glad you said it, because your family needs help, because they used to you always being gone and always at work or either deployed or in the field, and now you home all the time. That's a transition for them, because they like, wait a minute, don't you got to go to work? You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
but I encourage everybody, it depends on where you're seeing this at. If you're seeing this on YouTube, or you catch us on Facebook, just make sure, just hit us up on the messenger, or comment down below. If you have any questions, if you want to reach out to either one of us, of our experience, and we can guide you in the right direction. We've been there, we've done it, we've retired successfully, and we live in the good life now. So before I transition to our call to action, I just got a question for you. So we might do this on the next one about the reviews. So on TikTok, on Meal Talk, on TikTok, there's a lot of younger generation talking about, I only make $1,400, or $1,400 or $1,300 every 2 weeks. I make more doing TikTok. But here's the thing: what is your take on, because we didn't grow up with the TikTok Meal Talk era. We didn't have phones like that majority of our career. I remember my first cell phone was what, 2000, and maybe 2003, 2002, something like that. So we didn't have all this TikTok stuff. But what do you think about the soldiers? And I don't want to be a grumpy old retiree, but what do you think about the soldiers that's actually voicing their opinion about, the pay we getting? Just strictly on the pay. They upset with how much we get paid as being a private or E2, E3. Because I remember when I first came in '99, we was only getting paid $800, $900 every 2 weeks. So to get $1,300, that was a step up. But how do you feel about the whole thing? Because we can go into the benefits and stuff, but how do you feel when they come across like, I only get paid this much?
Okay. So, you know me, I'm going to be transparent, and I'm not
Yeah.
going to get deep into it. I'm going to say it like this. I don't have nobody advocating for their pay, right?
Yeah.
But if you want to get paid more money, work hard and go get promoted. That's the first thing, right?
That's it.
The second thing is look at the pros and the cons, right? You can go sick hall and get quarters for a week. You will have surgery for a week.
Mm-hmm.
You go on leave, it don't matter. Your paycheck is still gonna be the same.
Yeah.
In the civilian world, right?
Yeah.
When we got to take off, unless we're salary based. If we got to take off and go to a VA appointment, right? If we're not salary based, guess what? Them hours gonna be short the next 2 weeks.
Exactly.
And I would tell you, I don't have no problem with them soldiers advocating for their money, but it's like you say, you need the budget. Because I can tell you, my first paycheck as an E1 was about $600, $700.
Yeah, exactly.
And I can tell you, I was making more money working at a retail store at Nautica in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, making more money every 2 weeks in when I joined the Army. But you know what? I joined it for a different cause. But just to have a little jokey joke with them, they're probably not spending. Because if you walk in these soldiers' barrack room now, they barracks room look better than some of our living rooms. They got flat screen TVs, Xboxes.
Exactly.
That's $1,000 right now. But if you want to get paid, right, advance yourself. If you want to get promoted, because $1,400 every 2 weeks is that's about $3,500 a month.
Yeah,
I could do a lot with that right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Look, if you ain't married and you don't have no kids, you can do, and you living in the barracks, you can do a lot with $3,500 a month. You know what I'm saying? And we're not going to even talk about how you get dental benefits like you said, sick call benefits, and you do a year in. What is it? A year in, you can go get college for free.
That's straight now. You get it free now. But these soldiers, their money gone. They don't do like we do. They don't eat at the DFAT no more. They don't eat at
Yeah,
DFAT. They go straight to the
that's
PX
it.
eating all that.
Yeah,
They gotta get the fast cars. They gotta. And I'm not saying I'm not saying, but at the end of the day, if you're single, like I used to tell my soldiers, if you're single, ball out. But
yeah,
if you got a family, you gotta sacrifice. But as a private, if I would have made $1,400 as a
yeah.
private, come on, man.
I
Oh
can't.
my
I can't
God.
lie, man. Well, I'm not gonna put us on the spot, but $1,400. We'd have had some fun being private, being single privates with no. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna iterate that.
1,400? Yes,
You know what I'm
absolutely.
saying? So, but we gave everybody a 10 hours worth of talking. As far as that, we definitely will start doing this more because a lot of you guys, we have about 40 years of knowledge, like I said. So I'm gonna invite you listeners to actually, if you look at down below, you can go to facebook.com at /FC Dojo, and then hit us up on the email. And then I actually shared the links. If you go to va.gov or you can go to military transition program, just type in VA or find you a LinkedIn group, hit us up. And then next week, we'll probably do some reactions to some meal talk and give you some more good benefits as far as progressing your career. Because even though we retired, I've only been retired a year. Masson been retired 6 months, so we still have knowledge of how to get you promoted in the game. I know it's changed as far as promotion wise, but I'm pretty sure you can give them some knowledge on that next time we talk. Is there anything you want to let our listeners know before we roll out besides all gas, no brakes?
Yeah, one more thing. These two, and while you're in the military, I was one of them that the standard was a standard. You live by, you abide by the standard. But I got this for my retirees, as AKA old heads, as they call us, right? Even though
Yeah.
we're in our 40s, they call us old heads. The mindset, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not a Sergeant First Class, Master Sergeant, First Sergeant, Sergeant Major. You're not that no more. If you
Yep.
can't get out that military mindset, stay off base as a civilian and leave these soldiers alone. You can't correct them no more. All right.
Yeah.
Like I'm telling you, the
Yeah.
amount of times I had, and I don't even go to base. I go to base once a month. But if
Yeah.
you're one of them people who out of that mindset and can't go on base as a civilian and do what you gotta do without trying to leave them soldiers alone. You ain't in the army no more. Leave them alone. That's why they need to leave them soldiers alone.
Yeah, I would say that too. I would definitely say that we retired now, so leave them young soldiers alone. Now, I would say if you're gonna give them any insight, give them some insight as far as how to better their career. But their NCOs for when they screwing up their uniform, that's for their NCOs to do, not us anymore. But
Oh
other than
yeah.
that, you guys, I will see y'all. We will see y'all next week. Hey, big dog, make sure you stay on so we can chop it up right after.
Okay.
All right, we.